Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. So a couple of police stories I want to get through quickly. The first one, I hadn't really heard much. I hadn't heard anything about it, to be honest. But just recently it came up. This Australian federal police officer has been charged with perjury, concealing evidence, and perverting the course of justice. So he's an AFP police officer. So ACT Policing Detective Leading Senior Constable Trent Matters has been charged. Prosecutors allege the offences occurred between June 2019 and August 2020. They've also laid one charge over making a false statement in a legal proceeding in August 2020. And a final charge relates to allegedly concealing evidence with the intention of influencing the outcome of a legal proceeding between 2019 and August 20. So this Matters, Senior Constable Matters, after 2020, he'd also worked on this case against Bruce Lehrman, the chap who was accused of raping, what's the name? Brittany Higgins. And he was one of 5 officers who lodged a defamation case against the ACT's former Director of Public Prosecutions, Shane Drumgold. And this was all ultimately dropped. Now, we all know what a mess, an absolute mess, the Lehrman Higgins saga is. I wouldn't want to be involved in any of it. I purposely, I've got some strong opinions about it. I purposely steered clear of it because it's way too messy. Way too messy. And I think there's far too many lies told on both sides of the camp. And it's really hard to decipher what the truth is. Anyway, so there's that story here. Now, the next one I want to bring up very quickly. I'm surprised this chap here is pushing back the way he is, this officer, former officer at the moment. So I'm talking about Kristian White, the senior constable who was charged with manslaughter after he tasered Claire Nolan, the 95-year-old. She obviously got tasered, fell, hit her head, gets a bleed on the brain, and passes away. She dies because of his actions. So he was stood down with pay for 18 months. 18 months getting paid, not having to work, okay? And granted, he was in a stressful situation, very stressful situation that was of his own making, in my opinion. That was of his own making. If you see the video, him and the other officer, they've just strolled into the nursing home at like 3 a.m, strolled in there. Didn't seem to be a very high pressured situation. She could barely move. You see footage of her getting around. It's taking her ages just to move a few meters. It took her like a minute just to move around she's got a little walker and she's trying to get around. He strolls in, very relaxed, very chilled. Within a very short time frame, decides the only course of action he can take. Oh, well, first off, the senior officer who was with him, the acting sergeant, she failed miserably in trying to take the little steak knife, whatever it was, off the 95-year-old. She couldn't do it. 95-year-old glares at them, gives them an intense glare, intimidates them both. So then he comes to the conclusion that the only thing left for him to do is taser her. I've gone over this countless times. Silly decision. There's numerous other things he could have done. He's decided, no, I'm going to taser her. She falls, hits her head. As a result of all this, she's passed away. He has been found guilty of manslaughter. He got stood down 18 months, full pay. So I think it was the 3rd of December, I'm going to bring the story up and you can check it out for yourself. But the 3rd of December, the police commissioner, Karen Webb, I think she announced that he was going to be losing his job. But here we have it. Kristian White launches court action after losing New South Wales police job following the manslaughter conviction. Okay, so it says in this article, so New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb, she had announced on December the 3rd that she had removed White from the police force citing at the time that she did not have confidence in the officer's suitability to continue as a police officer in line with the procedure mandated under the Police Act 1990, Section 181D. 181 Delta. In a statement, a New South Wales police spokesman said the organisation was aware Mr. White had filed an application in the Industrial Relations Commission of New South Wales against Commissioner Webb, but couldn't comment further. New South Wales Police have been advised a former officer who was attached to Monaro PD had filed an application for review under Section 181 Echo of the Police Act 1990. The statement reads, the section of the Act allows a former police officer to allow for a review of a decision to have them removed from the New South Wales Police Force. A police officer who's removed from the New South Wales Police Force by an order under Section 181 Delta may apply to the Industrial Relations Commission for a review of the order on the ground that removal is harsh, unreasonable, or unjust. White's application for his removal to be reviewed is listed before the Industrial Relations Commission for conciliation on December 19. You know what? A couple of things I really don't understand with this. What's his thinking? What's he think is going to happen here? He has been charged, convicted of manslaughter. He killed someone. His actions were responsible for the death of a woman, another human being, his actions. He is going to spend some time in jail. So, how does he think it is reasonable for him to be able to keep his job? What, he thinks that he's going to spend time in jail, he's going to come out and what, just go back to life as normal, go back to policing? Is that what he hopes to do? Or is he looking for a payout? I assume that's what he's actually looking for, is some kind of payout. So he is responsible for the death of another human being, and then he's going to get the payout because he's been unjustly dealt with? Is that what he thinks is going to happen? I don't understand what he thinks. And the second thing I'd love to know is how is him being released on bail? How is that justified? I remember that the judge had said that he wanted to review what was going to happen with White once he went to prison. He wanted to make sure he's going to be safe, but surely it's not that complicated. They already have processes in place when this kind of thing happens. If a police officer or someone else goes to court, there's already areas where you can go where they are protected. So how can they justify him being allowed? He's just wandering around, dropping the kids at kindy and all that stuff until February. How was that justified? That would not happen. I don't understand how they can justify it. And then how he can justify what, he thinks he can keep his job. He should have kept his job. You know, but before I joined the police, I was predominantly self-employed for most of my adult working life. And one thing I could appreciate that I found a lot of other officers didn't appreciate is when you're self-employed, it's very easy to lose money. It's probably easier in some ways to make money, but it's very easy to lose money. And you have to be a lot more careful about business, because if people don't like what you're doing, if you don't do a good job, if you stuff something up, that will just go somewhere else, or you'll just get a bad reputation. You will lose money really quickly, and there's nothing you can really do about it. But what I found with police, and now that I'm back working in the private sector again, it's it seems a lot easier to lose your job if you screw up. If I go out there and just start and do something that that doesn't reflect very well on the company or the industry that I'm working in, it would be very easy for me to get in a lot of trouble and lose my job. There's swift ramifications that can come about if I behave in a manner that is not fruitful, that is not helpful to the company and the industry that I work in. You have to be careful. But I found with police, a lot of the police that I worked with, and that you see these police officers that get in trouble, they fight the system, they use the system, they seem to think that they can do whatever they want, and they do not have to answer for it, or they do not have to, or shouldn't have to lose their job for the mistakes that they make. Kristian White, what are you thinking? You're responsible for the death of this 95-year-old great grandmother. You lost your job rightly, justly, in my opinion. How is it that you can think it's unjust? And what do you think is going to happen here? Is the only thing that you're looking for is a payout from the government? I just think it's disgusting, your behaviour. Okay, and I really don't understand. I don't think it's right anyway. It's not I don't understand. I don't think it's right that Kristian White is allowed to just wander around, have Christmas with his family, and be allowed to wander around on bail until February when they'll finally decide what kind of sentence he's going to have to serve. This is ridiculous. Anyway, this is all my opinion. You let me know what you think. I'm still here down the Gold Coast, down Cooley, chilling on holidays. Let me know what you think. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
And say it isn't real, and please don't go away. Just give me one more day. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. We could start again. We could start again. We could start again.